Hello, and welcome to Happy Foot, Sad Foot, your LAFC gateway drug, and the only LAFC podcast that asks the question, what if retweeting Vince LaRosa was a whole podcast? This is Darren Miller. I'm here with Vince LaRosa, and Travis Hellwig is hiding behind a television somehow. I don't know.
Special guest
Travis Hellwig.
Okay, go back. Hide again and bring him back in, Darren.
Oh, wait, where'd Travis go? Oh, there he is.
Yeah,
okay.
Bring him back in.
You know what? I've already played this game way too much today. I've got 3 kids. This is enough.
Look, Travis is one of your 3 kids, right?
Travis is one of my 4 kids.
I have 5 minutes before I have to leave. I wasn't supposed to be here, but that was
Travis
such a
not
special
supposed to be
win.
here.
Okay, yeah, get it all out.
Special win. I had to be here. Look, I'm in New York. I'm here for the Tony Awards, which, as you guys know, big theater guy. I love theater. I'm always talking about theater.
Yep.
You won't stop talking about theater. Yeah.
Every episode, it's like, what's the newest play? But I'm here.
What's the newest play?
What's the newest play?
Is that how they? That's not how that works.
You can
right?
tell. I know
we do talk about plays, just like soccer.
There is a non-zero chance that I'll win a Tony tomorrow for no reason.
Well, let's spend the 5 minutes you have talking about that.
Okay, no. What we'll talk about is my happy foot and my sad foot. My sad foot
that'd be great.
Is them taking out Tillman way too early for my bet. Tillman would have had an assist on one of those goals, and we all know he would have had an assist on one of those goals. And my happy foot is Bogusz's game-winning goal. Literally, I want to say 10 seconds after Taylor Twellman said the clear strategy is everyone sitting back and Bogusz and Bouanga on the counterattack. And immediately there was a Bogusz and Bouanga counterattack to win the game. It was as if, when people say it's scripted, it felt scripted. Like it felt like a movie, the way that Twellman's comment was connected to what just happened.
Because Twellman noticed that there were like 6 defenders on the field and the only 2 attackers for LAFC. Is like, you know what? If they are going to score, I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's going to be one of these 2 guys.
So those are my happy feet and sad feet.
That's good. All right. Well, anything else you want to leave us with before you have to head out?
You trying to get? I still have 2 minutes and 30 seconds. You're trying to get rid of me?
Oh my god!
We're just trying to be mindful of your time because you
Listen,
got to head out.
Say that to a caller. That's not what's happening.
Should I do peekaboo again?
No, I really don't think you
should.
I really.
Yeah. Normally we say this show is not for kids, but if you have children right now, bring them to
the one time. This is the one time the show is for kids.
Entertain them for the next 2 minutes. Go.
No, I missed the first half. I watched the second half in between a dinner and where I have to go.
Oh, good. Okay, let's break down the first half for you.
Well, no, but what I was going to say is it looked like we should have lost that game. We looked like we were not in control of that game. Is that 100%. Correct?
They were sloppy. The first half, they actually could have been in control of the game if they weren't so sloppy. And as I said, passive. Like they just kind of they looked like a team that hadn't played in a little bit. And also the weather and the field. The field was, somebody noted on my Twitter, like the field looks super slow. And I agreed with that. Like they would pass.
Did you see Bogusz tried to slide on his knees and immediately stopped?
Yeah. Yeah. So somebody had told me that I guess it had been raining all day leading up. So the field was not just wet. It was completely waterlogged. And so that slowed the ball down. But it was interesting because, they actually tried to control the game a lot in the first half. And weren't so successful at it, but yet we're up 1-0. Then the second half, they come out and go like, F it, let's just go direct the whole time. And that was the worst idea for what was going on. And just too many turnovers led to 1-1. But as you said, like Bouanga, Bogusz, they just found a way. Orlando's in a bad spot right now. But on top of it, those guys are so good right now. They stole it. They stole this one.
And they talked about it at the end of the podcast or at the end of the broadcast. Or when you watch it on TV, is that a podcast?
It's a podcast.
if you're in the other room listening and not watching, then it's a broadcast podcast.
Right. Okay. A broad podcast.
A broad pod.
That's when a ladies host a podcast, a broad pod.
Oh boy! Oh boy!
Wow, he's been canceled immediately.
Yeah, try these at the Tonys. See how that works.
Yeah.
The LAFC Luke asked us to go to a Pride watch party, and I said I'm at the gayest event possible. I'm going to the Tonys, so I'm at a Pride watch party. But what I was going to say is, we are about to be 1 point out of first place in the West with a game in hand. Real Salt Lake tied tonight. Both teams directly below us, Galaxy and Kansas City, are playing right now. Kansas City has a game in hand, so on paper we should be rooting for the Galaxy. I'm rooting for Kansas City tonight, boys.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It still sounds so weird to hear Kansas City in that kind of a sentence. Like it's just like, it's so weird that they're this close to the top. Even this season, it feels like they're struggling. I don't know what's going on with this table.
It kind of shows you how like not great the West is.
The West is just terrible.
But thankfully, LAFC's figured it out, and they've just sailed up. Like they've made sure that they're one of the elite teams, along with RSL. Galaxy are trying to keep up, and then the rest of the guys are just like, it's going to be a lot of back and forth from the rest of these teams.
But right before I go, I just want to say, Olivier Giroud is joining this team in like 3 weeks.
Crazy.
We couldn't be in a better position to add the second best goal scorer in the league. And before I go, I just want to say, GR Walrus asked, Travis, who's your pick for best musical book at the Tonys? My pick is Suffs for best musical book. And also for score, but I'm unfortunately, I think we might lose best musical. Okay, goodbye, everybody. I love you. Bye.
Bye, Travis. Thank you for joining us. Now we know what Travis's burner account is. It's GR Walrus. Thank you for joining us, Travis. Thank you for leaving us, Travis. That was a fun one at the end, I guess. It felt like maybe 3 different matches happened.
Mm-hmm. It did.
Should we break them down in that way? Maybe.
We already talked.
Like we were just falling behind. It's like, we haven't played in a while. We're rusty. It's humid as fuck.
We talked about the first half, the second half, and I think what we haven't touched on yet is how, as the game changed, Steve Cherundolo, who a lot of people maybe rightly or wrongly have gotten on for his like substitution patterns, gave the team a chance to win at every turn. Like when they were up 1-0, he made some subs, brought in Omar Campos, and went more of like a 4-1, 4-1 or 4-4-2 because basically they were sitting too deep. They were defending deep, and Orlando was getting a lot of crosses, and that was causing some problems. So Steve changes it around, says, look, let's see if we can get some more pressure on these crosses. Obviously, a bad turnover. Tillman probably shouldn't put Duenas in that spot. And I think for once, I can say with confidence that Hugo was between two minds there and really didn't know what to do with that ball over the top. He didn't come for it. He didn't stay back. He just kind of was stuck in place, and that results in the goal. But then, at 1-1, he changes again. He brings on extra center backs, which are like, what's going on here? And it solidifies them, and it gives them the chance to just counter, to just go like, okay, Bogusz, Bouanga, just go nuts. And I like the way that he finished out the game, really kind of, like I said, giving his team chances to win at every moment of the game state, and finding a way with, we got to say, I mean, yes, they're only missing Christian Oliveira, but they were also Luis Mueller, David Martinez, guys that you would normally could maybe plug into that spot. So he was kind of threadbare in the moves he could make, but he got the moves right.
Yeah. So, I mean, would you say that if we saw 3 matches, Cherundolo kind of created the second 2?
I think he just read. Yeah, he read the game. So he read the game so well. And also he kind of realized, like, look, this Orlando team's having trouble scoring. So how can I just solidify my team and then know that they're going to push a little bit harder? They're going to get up the field, and I've got guys like Bouanga and Bogusz who are one-man attacking units.
They certainly started to come through for us. Should we start with happy feet or sad feet that haven't been mentioned yet? This is shifting gears a little bit. My big happy foot for the match was I thought Palencia had some big plays in a game where the defense was really fucking busy.
Yeah.
And
I thought the defense was pretty good. I mean, even like in the goal, I watched it back a couple times, and I was like, well, could Aaron do more there? He had 2 guys to defend at once. The whole goal starts from the turnover, and you're just trying to emergency defend. Like I said, Hugo could have had a better moment in that goal, but was pretty good otherwise. I think there was that one corner where Like he thought he was going to be in more traffic and decided to punch when really he could have just caught the ball because
Yeah.
the Orlando guy ducked out of it. But they were okay. And I do think that Murray and Long had a pretty good game. I thought Hollingshead was good, especially against the counter early. He was really helping pinch in and help out Ilie, help them win the ball back. It's funny to say, like, it's like, I don't think LAFC really had a good game at all. And I really do feel like they stole that one, but there was some good performances.
Yeah. It felt, to be honest, I think another good happy foot. I actually have luck written down as a happy foot.
Hey, sometimes you need it. Like we didn't have much of it early in the season, and now they're winning games that maybe they shouldn't be.
Yeah, I don't know whether it's which one wins out here. Is it luck, like cosmic luck, or is it really just we got lucky that Orlando just could not find it? Like it felt like it was a matter of time before they would score, and they finally did score. But like that's all they had.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of amazed me that it took them that long to finally find a way to finish, and then that once they did, they were almost complacent the rest of the match. And it's just I don't know. In our preview episode, you mentioned that they still haven't figured out their identity. You still can't really tell who they are or what they're about, and I feel that way even more after watching them.
Yeah,
like I just don't get it.
To your point,
I'll take it.
To your point, it seemed like they were like, "Oh my God, we finally scored a goal. It's level 1-1. We've done it. It's over. We don't have to do much more." And they just kind of.
And at that point, I was like, well, given how much we've been having to defend and how well they've been playing, I'll take a tie at this point. Like we're barely hanging on here, and they were just like, "You can have another goal."
Yeah. Wait.
Okay.
We'll defend with our two center backs. They're not as fast as Bouanga and Bogusz, but let's see what happens.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay. We have callers. Let's go to callers.
I can stay on for one caller.
Okay. And then I know you got to hop too. Well, is there anything you want to make sure you address before we go to a caller, just so you can get it out before you go?
I think I got to everything I really did want to talk about. I thought Steve subs were good, and the way he kind of changed the formation with the limited kind of resources that he had. I think he read the game really well, despite the guys maybe putting him in that position, and they figured it out. I think the other thing somebody had mentioned earlier, Twellman keeps saying that LAFC looks like they have midfield problems. I don't agree. I think he keeps going back to the well about that Columbus Crew game, which is like it's a final, it's a one-off. It was when LAFC was playing in a way that basically all they had was a direct attack and nothing else. And that was spreading out the team a lot. And I think he's right to an extent, but they've already addressed it. Like, as we've noticed, the team is a lot more compact. They try to play in a lot more controlled way. It's like they understood that was a problem, but I don't think long-term it hasn't been a problem since like the very beginning of the season. That's where I don't agree with Twellman. I think it was something that they definitely needed to address, but I don't think it's now a problem that's still there.
All right. That totally makes sense. All right. LAFC Luke, you're on.
Hi, guys.
How's it going? Happy foot, sad foots. What's happening? What's going through your head?
My happy foot was being at High Tops Los Feliz with Pride Republic and a bunch of other supporters for the Pride Watch Party. We had a bunch of folks there from Angel City who are now watching that game. I stepped out so I could call in. So happy Pride, everybody.
Hey.
Our last big Pride thing for Pride Republic this month, and just had a great time. Had a hard time focusing on the game, but obviously loved seeing us do so well on the road and do so well. Win on the road. Let me put it that way. Because we've watched a number of games at this bar this year and had a lot of disappointments. So we've had a few folks who were like, if we lost this game, we would never come back to High Tops. No.
Well, good. High Tops is still in. Big happy foot. Big takeaway.
I mean, I think my happy foot is probably Ilie. I felt like he was really good at intervening on a few key moments. He seemed to have good vision. I don't know. He's one of those guys that just sort of like does the work and you don't notice a whole heck of a lot. Unlike Denny with his scoring, or Matus with his goal, which was beautiful, all that. But I just felt like Ilie was sort of the glue holding it together. So he's probably he would be my happy foot. My sad foot, sad for Orlando that they can't kick a penalty kick. This is too bad.
Oh well.
We haven't mentioned that yet, really. They completely blew it.
One of the worst penalties I've seen in a while.
That was incredible.
But genuinely, my input would be us not being able to get that 6th game in a row to set the record for shutouts in Major League Soccer. We were so close. So close.
Yes. That's a solid sad foot. Yeah. All right.
Agreed on Ilie. I thought he grew. To your point, Luke. He started. I mean, the whole team started off a little rough. He was in moments where like he was giving the ball away. Maybe he was coming in a little too hot, trying to counter press and win the ball back. And then he kind of settled down. And like you said, he became to where you didn't really notice him because he was just doing the little things right and helping balance the team. And I thought I agree with you. I thought by the end of the game he was a standout performer. Which going back again to Twellman just wanting to like just shit on it. I mean. Could you find a nicer guy to just want to shit on the whole time? Like every time we play the game, he has to bring that up, and I can't agree with him less.
It feels like he's got like a set of like 5 notes that just kind of haven't changed in a while.
And look, he was 100% right in that game.
Okay, I gotta go
and to start the season, but since then, like I just don't know if he's been watching the progression and understanding what it meant and why they progressed that way. Maybe he needs to have a longer conversation with Steve.
I would just say my athlete's foot is I don't understand how a 9-man Miami team went up on an 11-man Philly team in the 94th minute. I'm going to have to go watch that, but give me an effing break. Philadelphia, you suck.
Wow. I did not know that was happening. Yeah.
94th minute, they're up 2 players. What are you doing?
That's incredible. Wow. Well, I guess we'll all go watch that next after we watch the rest of this postgame show.
All right, guys.
But that's the beauty of Season Pass. Thanks for joining us as always.
Bye, Happy Luke. Pride. Happy Pride.
Bye.
I'm glad that Luke gave us a moment to talk about that PK, and maybe we should keep talking about it forever because that was just really terrible. That was some like Baggio World Cup.
Oh, what?
Sorry.
Darren, I'm just about to leave.
You're about to leave anyway.
That's what you're going to leave me with? How dare you? After Italy came back, after giving up a goal in the first 23 seconds of their match in Euros today, and then you're going to, oh, wow. Thanks.
Oh, man. Yeah, that was a fun match. Did you enjoy that one?
Not at first, but I did enjoy that they were able to muster something together.
For a moment, they had.
For a moment there, I was like, "Oh, great! This is classic Italy. We won a trophy, and now we're not going to do anything for the next 20 years."
They took care of it pretty quickly.
Yeah, they managed to put something together, and they showed they have a little bit of a good mentality and some heart, and that's good to see from them. I still think they'll struggle in this tournament. They're in a tough group, and in a tournament, you really need a guy that you can just count on for goals. Italy doesn't have that. I think that's what Italy is going to be lacking in this. The defense isn't quite as good, midfield isn't quite as good, and then definitely they just don't have goal scorers, and that's gonna let you down in the long run of a tournament.
Well, France does, and soon we'll have him.
Yep.
So that's good. Oh, France does ahead of him as well.
Yeah.
But he's not the guy for them. But great. Do you need to take off?
I do have to go, but I've got to say I enjoyed this game. I wish I could stick around longer because it was a weird game. It was really weird to the point of, I know someone saying that the Spanish announcers were saying LAFC didn't really deserve to win. I don't know if anybody really deserved to win that game besides maybe Bogusz and Bouanga, and they did. They won the game.
I think that's a really good point. I really don't think anyone really earned a win here. If they had come out with it, it wouldn't have been like, oh, they did it. Like, they played like shit too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for joining us as always.
Bye, guys.
I will go from best to worst here. Thank you for joining us on the show, Vince. And here comes heel of the foot, Geoff Tock. You're filling some shoes no one's expecting you to fill. So it's okay.
Yeah, I'd like to thank you for having me on as your co-host, Darren. It really means a lot that you finally gotten rid of the hero.
Yeah.
With
Okay.
The hero, where's Travis?
You have actually co-hosted the show before.
I have. With you, it was fun. I enjoyed that a lot. Yeah, we're still figuring out the Geoff Tock persona at that point, so it's not as strong as it should have been. But we're here now. We're living. So as you know, Darren, I like to come on here and disregard all formats and standards. And I'm a little grumpy that Vince isn't here to get mad about it because that's always fun when he gets mad. But I'd like to talk about the worst ads of the game. I think there are
I'm all for that.
There's 2 all-time bad ads that we're going to see 1,000 more times before the end of the season, and that is the Olays ad, in which Messi apparently is playing soccer for Lays.
What's Lays the soccer team?
One? Yeah,
Lays is in this. Okay, we're imagining a universe where Lays is still a chip brand and a soccer team, which isn't so far-fetched because there are often soccer teams who are named after their sponsor, Red Bull.
But they're not named the Lays. Do you know what I mean? Like they're the blankie.
Do they refer to them that way? The Lays?
Yeah, the Olays.
Go Lays.
It's a Lays. It's not like the sponsor. It's the team is Lays.
Yeah, that's true.
Just hijacking, like
Lays United.
Yeah, it's the worst. And then Kobe Jones pretending to be cool.
Yes. You're breaking up, but I think what you're saying is... Did we lose you? Geoff Tock, heel of the foot.
Can you hear me?
We're fully losing you.
I'm still here, but I was waiting for you to talk. All right, wow, what are you going to do?
You're totally frozen.
That's okay, hang with me.
This is great broadcasting. We sent you a mic already. Now you're not using the mic. We're gonna have to send you a whole new modem.
Mic.
I'll take you off and then try coming back on. Was that Joey One Bar or Geoff Tock? We'll never know. I think what he was referring to was Kobe Jones replacing Ilie as the face of Continental Tires. If I remember correctly, that is what the commercial's for. Also, yeah. I don't know what kind of clout Kobe Jones has in a commercial these days. Is everyone still a Kobe Jones fan? Not that everyone here ever was necessarily, but I guess I liked him as a kid. I want to read some comments. We haven't gotten a chance to read many of your comments, and the chat is very busy as usual. Thank you for hanging out in the chat. A couple people pointing out the Spanish commentators were talking shit about LAFC. Were they not talking shit about Orlando? I don't know. Yeah, we played sloppy. They should have scored on the PK. They didn't. We did. I don't know what else. We broke through with far less chances than they had to break through. One thing that Twellman said on the broadcast that was, I think, well put was they just didn't pull the trigger a number of times for some reason. I don't know. They did when they scored, but for a lot of the game, they had a lot of chances they didn't even try to capitalize on. It felt like we were playing against the computer and had turned a setting off or something. It was like we created some kind of cheat code where they just couldn't shoot. So I don't know. I guess if they had won, I would hope they'd be talking the same shit about them. Yeah, I don't know. Euro's sad foot. Brian Seabury says Euro's sad foot. Chiellini having to share studio oxygen with Alexi Lawless. I did know that was coming, but I didn't connect the dots in my head and have not seen this visually, and it makes me nauseous thinking about it. Jeff, you're back on the show. Let's try this again. You've got service.
Thank you.
We were talking about Kobe Jones for Continental Tires, I believe.
We're back to what's important, Darren, which is Kobe Jones for Continental Tires. Nobody looks cool in those commercials, not even when they put Brad Pitt in them or whatever, but Kobe Jones does not have the charisma to pull that off. And if he did, he would probably be commentating more regularly than he is. Yikes. So embarrassing choice.
Shots fired.
Embarrassing choice to have Kobe Jones as the mascot of Continental Tire. Yeah, man, it's a bad set of commercials this year. That's my hot take. It's heel of the foot. Is that I think the commercials are weaker this year than they were last year. Not a big fan.
Heel of MLS Season Pass.
I tell you what they can't, fans.
Yeah.
They're in the pocket of big LAFC, and
of course we are. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I'm gonna rip that weird. Is it the Audi commercial with the real pale lady yelling at her kid about the headlights?
Yeah,
I don't like that one either.
That one's real weird. A lot of commercials, and I have to say, a lot of them are for like luxury things. They have a weird uncanny valley thing.
Yep.
That it seems like they're going for that. I don't know why. It's just like we're in like wealthy universe. I don't know what they're trying to accomplish with the aesthetic, but
yeah, it is
very strange.
It makes me sad because it means that they're targeting it towards upscale folks instead of downscale folks, and that means that soccer has not yet penetrated the downscale market. When we get more Bud Light commercials, that's when we'll know we've really made it. When we get like Mexican beer commercials during MLS matches, I'm going to be very, very excited. I think you might see the Leagues Cup ads change a little bit. That'll tell us something about who they're targeting. But I'd like to my happy foot.
Yeah, let's get to
my own breaking format. Is that I think that the MLS hype music before the game is great. That little chant thing that they do, where they're like, "Oh," it's like and it's like all the different languages.
You know what?
Cheering.
You know what? I feel compelled to counter that, but I feel I got to agree with you.
It's really good. And I wish they put it on earlier. I wish they put it on at like 4 so that I could just have it on. I know that the game's going to start.
Okay, now you lost me. They put it on plenty early. That shit goes on forever.
No.
What's so good about it is that you can stomach it for that long.
I disagree with you entirely. Today's game was at 4:30. It didn't show up until probably 4:25. You could hit the button that they gave you the chant. I want the chant early.
That's plenty of time.
No way, because what if I want to walk around and do other stuff and I got to worry whether it's going to come on or not? You know what I'm saying?
That's true. I will say the polar opposite of this, or the sort of spiritual opposite of this, is that I think the sound that comes on when a game has ended when you're streaming on the ESPN app is the worst thing I've ever heard in my life. And I do actually genuinely believe that they purposely engineered it to sound bad to make you turn it off.
Yeah. I believe that.
I think we've set the two ends of the spectrum with those.
I do, and I think it's really important that we got through everything
this is the
that really mattered
stuff
about this game. Yeah, because I'm sure you guys that did some actual analysis, but it's the middle of the summer. We're in Orlando. It's hard to really. I'm happy we won, but we're not going to know what anything is until everybody finishes up the summer transfer window. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So this has been your take for a bit now. You're feeling content that we're essentially needing to tread water until the summer transfer window, arguably until the playoffs. We need to get into the playoffs, and then we need to be in good enough form at that point to do damage.
To be Inter Miami and Messi. And my new take is that I think Messi's going to get hurt before the final. We're going to win the final. And then everyone's going to yell about how we didn't actually win because Messi was hurt, and we're going to have a chip on our shoulder for the next 20 years.
Interesting.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm trying to be real specific here.
This is very specific. Yeah, I'm glad that this is getting recorded because I want to write this down. I want to.
Is it though? You know, these things just go off into the ether. Who knows where they end up?
Who knows what's happening? Yeah. I don't know. I guess I get the idea of treading water. I get that these games, you can't put too much stock in these games. I get that you can't put too much stock in like specific things that happen in these games, but I think you need all of these games to be able to be in good enough form to have the experience. If there's one thing that I feel like we've learned, if you go back far enough between this season and last season, it's that like the ups and downs that they've gone through is what got them to the form they're in, because they can draw from those downs, really, just the downs. Like, I think it was helpful to us that we had such a poor start to the season, and we found a way to. I thought it was unhelpful to us that we had such a good start to last season.
No, this is confirmation bias. This is wherever you end up at, you look back and say, this is where I needed to get there. This is like when you like meet like a 27-year-old girl who's got like 2 kids and a bunch of terrible tattoos. She's like, I've made a lot of mistakes, but I wouldn't change any of it because I love my life now. Like, no, you should have made different choices earlier. We should have,
And this hypothetical character should have made different choices because of the tattoos or the kids or what's the implication here?
No. She's also in this hypothetical thing. She's also in.
She had kids too soon. Yeah. What's happening?
I don't like where you're going with this. This feels like you're trying to put me in a box. No, I'm just saying.
Well, I don't know. Your
hindsight.
point is that she should have made different choices, but you didn't explain any of the choices.
I think that the assumptions you make said a lot about you, Dan. That's all I'll say about that. You know what I mean?
All I did was identify the specifics you gave me.
Sure. Yeah, you're just asking questions. You just want to know about genetic differences in IQ. I get it, Dan. Yeah, you're just quizzical.
Okay.
I'm sorry, man. There's
All
nothing
right.
to talk about.
All right. Well, then get off the show. Thank you, Geoff Tock, for joining us as always. Heel of the foot. As usual, I decide when you leave. Very happy to have you, though. Boy, any other happy foots or sad foots that we missed that you want to sound off in the chat? I do think we got through a lot. It is a sad foot. I want to harp on a little bit more that the clean sheet is over. That was a hell of a run. There was a point where I would have been happy with a tie in this match. I kind of at one point also expected them to score, Orlando to score kind of a handful of goals. So it still feels like a good defensive and goalkeeper match with how many shots they got off. I really think Orlando had a poor game in a lot of ways, but a poor game from the standpoint of like they had a lot of chances where they didn't even take a shot, and then an insane amount of shots for how many shots were on target, and then for the on target shots, how many shots even had a chance. So the defense was definitely a lot busier than Lloris was, but it really felt like the kind of match where you would expect Lloris to be a lot more busy than he was. Lori says yellow hair equals sad foot. I think that's a good call. I saw who was it? Tillman and Long, I think, bleached their hair again. Yeah, I saw that pregame. Vincent, Travis, and I have a chat, and Travis mentioned it, and I think we were all kind of like, "Uh-oh, I don't know. This could be a bad omen." It doesn't feel like a good luck thing to do. That can only be a bad luck thing to do. I don't know. Hopefully, they're not getting ideas from this going well. I do prefer the bleach blonde to the cornrows. So I guess you could give us your preference in the chat. If you have to have something, is it bleach blonde or cornrows? Jack Dickens, LAFC fan from London, England. Hello, welcome to the show. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being a part of this. Gotta say, if you were to say LAFC fan from London, what's my name? I might have guessed Jack Dickens. That's amazing. I hope you're real, because that's an amazing name. What else we got going on in the chat? Maxime Chanot has been a great signing. Also Dickens. Yes, agreed. I was a little surprised to see him not get the start. Maybe he's a little still a little hungover from his from Euros coming back. We did have a very different, we didn't touch too much on. We had a pretty different lineup starting than normal. As Vince mentioned earlier, I think Cherundolo made a good call to really strengthen up the defense. Later, it was good that we had Chanot at that point to do that. So that worked out. I love seeing Kai Kamara out there. I don't think he did anything detrimental, but I'm still kind of waiting for him to have like those breakout moments. I thought he had some good passing when at times when the rest of the team kind of didn't. I do think we kind of had some trouble today getting the ball advanced out of the back and then into the front. We had far fewer chances than I would have liked. We didn't really manufacture too many chances or have any sort of dynamic passing or teamwork that led to many goal opportunities until the very end. But yeah, happy foot killer bees both scored. They're both looking solid. As long as that's the case, with the defense looking solid, we're in a good spot. Sad foot. Michael West says sad foot Atuesta has not impressed this season. I don't know if I'd agree with that. I wouldn't say he's been a superstar, but I feel okay about him overall. People tell me in the chat if you agree or disagree with that. I think it's a valid point for sure, or a valid stance for sure. I don't know if I agree. I think it's valid to have higher hopes for him. Maybe our hopes were a little inflated for him. And I think he came out very strong, so that might have contributed to that. But I do think he's good. The one complaint I have about Atuesta is his temper with the yellows, and I hesitate to say that maybe that's starting to get more under control. Yeah, Kimberly Cooper says Atuesta is a liability overall. Maybe, yeah. We'll see. He's got time to settle in more, I think. Daniel says Kai had some clearances that Carlos wouldn't have, except in a cup match. That's funny, except in a cup match. Yeah, that's good. What do we got? What else we got going on here? Sadfoot. Sadfoot. I missed the first 20 because I just got back from Disneyland. I don't know what to say. I'm glad that our pregame trivia inspired you to go to Disneyland, as I'm assuming must have been the case. Of course, you heard that and you were like, I just have to go to Disneyland now. But I mean, I would have thought you would have scheduled it so that you could still see the match. I'm sorry if we just like went so hard on the trivia game that you had to get there and miss the match. So that is a sad foot. We'll have to do better because we have to. I think we have to accept some responsibility for that. Daniel says Atuesta needs to see a sports psychiatrist. Yep, Atuesta has the most yellow cards on the team. I think we're all agreed there for sure. I'm looking at my notes. I'm not seeing anything that we didn't get a chance to cover. I like that we're finding ways to win, even with different lineups. As Vince mentioned, I love that we're able to make adjustments in the middle of the match and find ways to win. It's one of those matches where it's like it feels like overall we're looking good almost because we didn't look that good just as far as flat out play was concerned on the match. Like we can steal a win, we can find a win in a scrappy match. Which is gonna bode well for us going into next week. We've got 2 matches. We will have a preview pod out for you for a double preview pod for the 2 matches. I believe it is Austin and San Jose. San Jose, I already feel like we played them too many times this season. That's enough. I'm good with San Jose. Whatever. Hopefully we don't blow it there, but like, come on. That's enough San Jose. Austin, I'm excited to. I don't remember meeting them yet this year, but I'm excited for that one. We'll have the pod out in time for the Wednesday match. Or is it a Tuesday match? I don't remember. One of these is a Tuesday one. It's a little weird, or we already had that. I don't know. The time all blends together. Thank you for joining us. As always, thank you for being lively in the chat. If you enjoyed the show, give it a like, subscribe to us if you're watching on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts, you can subscribe there. Tell a friend, just help us spread the word, get more people to be part of this. If you want to be even more part of this, we've got a lot more going on the Patreon for $5 a month. There's a ticket exchange there. There's discussion threads. There's an ad-free version of every podcast episode. There's merch discounts. There's still a few scarves left, which is patron exclusive merch, and there's more of that as well. But there's plenty of ways to help support the show, help build the community of the show, whether you want to do that with your dollars or not. Until next time, thank you for being a part of this, and I love you. Bye.